Hello, Mike.
Hello, Charity. I can hear you.
Okay, so do I have to go to YouTube?
I'm already on YouTube now.
Okay.
You're already live now. Thank you very much.
Okay. How do I know people are joining? Can I see them?
Thank you very much.
Okay.
No,
How do I know people are joining? Can I see them?
no, you just speak.
Okay. How do I know?
Me. Am I audible? Can I
Very
be
well.
heard?
Very clear, sir. Very clear, sir.
Okay,
Good evening,
okay,
sir.
that's good. Yeah, good evening. Okay, so how this is the first time using this tech. I don't know what this is, but you say it's streaming on Facebook, on YouTube.
On YouTube, yes. Live
Okay,
on YouTube.
okay. That's good. Okay, that's good. Can I keep my phone like this? Are you seeing me well?
Yes, but you are kind of bending. I think it's better if you keep it straight up.
I cannot keep holding it straight up, man. Is it like this? Where is Mike?
Yes.
Mike. Oh God.
I'm here, sir. I'm here. I'm at the backstage.
Better be there and make sure that nothing goes, that everything goes well. That is your business. So it's not my business.
Sir, straighten your camera.
Like this.
Yes, sir.
Yes. It's better
Oh,
that way.
okay. Who's my camera carrier? Mike. Get it to the office on Monday so I can pick
All
it.
right. All right.
And so, how do we know people are joining?
I
Because I'm
can
not
see it
holding
now.
my.
We have four persons already.
Okay, and I don't have an idea. I can't even see anybody. Yeah. So what of
Okay,
the Zoom
just
link?
It's been shared. Zoom?
Yeah. Did you block out Zoom totally?
yes.
Oh, okay. I don't think the camera quality of this is as clean as what we were using before.
It's the same.
Okay. Why is it echoing?
No, it's from my end. I can just to reduce my volume and you're good to go.
Okay.
So you use the chat box to ensure that people are following you. It forces them to type when they need be and they will type.
Okay. It's okay. So let's try this model out today.
If you check your chat box, you would see persons that are responding to messages already.
Okay. It's okay. Okay. It's a beautiful time. Okay. Let's kick off. And from there, we'll be able to create an ample of magic while we try out our new tech. So thank you for bringing this up, Mike, and let's see how it goes from here. Okay. Okay. Good evening, everyone, and I believe we are having a lot of beautiful evening. Okay, Sandra, I see you. Perpetua, I see you, and Jane, I see you. Mrs. Vivian, I see you. Lillian, I see you. Someone is already saying that she thinks that the Zoom is better. Okay, maybe after the end of this section, we'll take a full view of that. Okay, so good evening, everyone. It is June, and June is for double victory. And normally, the month of June always comes with a lot of exciting things. And excitement comes from creation. Excitement has to come from taking a whole lot of actions. And then, but it's also a reminder that we have taken 5 steps and we are the sixth step in the month. And thereby, we have a lot that we can do more and more. So, that being said, you know, when June reminds us that we have taken 5 full steps in the month and we're trying to gear up to enter the second half, just like after the most critical times in a game is normally the first 10 minutes, the last minutes, right? That's I am talking of football, the game I watch once in a while. Um, and if you notice, most goals are scored towards the tail end of every match. Why? Because there is um there is more expectation, maybe tail end of the second half, tail end of the first half, and some goes at the beginning. Or so those first 5 minutes. I think that is so because when you enter a new place, when you enter a new league, when you enter a new quarter, when you enter a new month, you want to be able to say, "Oh, let me leave my mark here." And also when you're leaving, when the time is ticking and you're thinking, oh, I have things that have to get done. And when that happens, that is when results come. Because results will always remain the same if it's the same level of action, if it's the same level of knowledge that is powering the action. So most times in football, most players are scored towards the tail end. If you go and check statistics of goals that is scored, you always know towards the ending of first half, towards the ending of second half, they score more goals towards that ending or in the beginning, but more goals are scored at the ending than the beginning. That is the same way to have a first half of the year, we have the second half of the year. And that being said, it's June. The same formula we've been applying from January to May. If we apply that same formula, we should get the same result we have gotten from January to May, all things being equal, right? And that brings us to, if we are ending this half and this is the tail end, how are we going to position ourselves to do more? The essence of life is creating a better outcome, right? The essence of learning is creating a better outcome. So I look at life as a learning process. That's why I said the essence of life is creating a better outcome. If results do not improve, there's no need staying on the same pedestal for the rest of your life. You become like the man that dies at 28 and is buried at 80. So today I want us to look at a concept. Most of us on this call are salespersons. And in our business, there's something we know. And what is that? We know that, oh, we're selling a product. We believe we're selling a product, and the product is land. But truly, nobody wants to buy a product. I think we talked about this last section. And what we really want to buy is people want to buy name. I repeat it. People want to buy name, right? People want to buy progress. People want to buy what else do people want to buy? People want to be able to buy things that just puts them ahead. So today is not about land, it's about creating a legacy with this job, this work we call a calling. How do we make this our calling? How do we create legacy from it? So it's about shifting from chasing sales to attracting wealth by becoming trusted advisors, not just realtors. Trusted advisors. So we are attracting wealth. We are shifting from chasing sales to attracting wealth. So we are more, people can really know, oh, this person is the go-to person. This is the go-to person. You want advice on this? This is the person you're going to talk to. You're looking for. So what the basis of this is, if we take what we have learned and in 6 months, right, by December, and within not just within your clique, outside your clique, within even the persons that you have not met, but they have been able to meet you through your contents, through your write-ups on Facebook. They can say, this person is the go-to person to learn about how to go about owning land in what? In Asaba. Does that make sense? Okay. So now, you remember, in the last 36 months, right? In the last 3 years, lands in major part in Asaba, wherever it is, must have appreciated for over 200%. Some have appreciated for over 250. The one we do first appreciation. We buy the place, we try to develop it, get the peppers, rectify it. Those ones are offset. We're not talking of those ones, but the normal land, virgin land that no first appreciation is done on it has appreciated for over 200%. But guess what? The realtors who earned the most were not the best closers. They don't know what you know. So they are not the best closers. Some of them don't even understand the concept and the science of closing. They don't understand it. You understand those acts and percepts and how you understand the client journey. You understand the client experience. You get all those things because we have looked at them, right? But we are the best listeners and vision. Yes. I always say this, and I'll say it again here, that selling is 90% listening and 10% talking. Selling, when you want to sell, right? I took a class and the professor, what did the professor say? The professor came to class and said, if we want to solve a problem, how do we go about it? And we were listing everything that we thought was the solution. And he gave a simple scenario, which is that he now asked us, if you want to cut a tree, what do? You have a cutlass and you have a knife. And you have a cutlass, you have the tree. And if you spend 90% of your time sharpening the cutlass, a blunt cutlass, you will be able to get the tree down in what? In 10 minutes. So it was more like, if we have a problem, that we should spend 90% of the time knowing exactly what the problem is, not assuming. Remember, assumption is the mother of maybe I would say is the mother of ignorance, but assumption is the lowest form of knowledge, right? So listening, I see, because when you meet a client, the client is more like talking about the problems that he's having. And remember, every man that walks on earth has a challenge that he's trying to solve, and your goal is to use your solution to prefer solution to what the client is saying, right? Okay, a lot of us are already here. Okay, welcome everyone. We are using this for the first time, so I cannot see us directly, but it's all good. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that in the past 36 months, land within parts of Asaba have appreciated for over 200%. But the best realtors who earn the most were not the best closers. They were the best listeners and visionaries. So what that means is they were not selling land, right? They were listening to understand the problem of the client and sell the solution in the land to the client. So invariably, some of them were operating like private bankers without knowing. You know what bankers do? They offer you financial solutions, and that is it. So don't sell land, sell the future. Land is the product, but the promise is what people are buying. They're buying peace of mind. They're buying generational wealth. They're buying early access to a rising economy, a rising access, and early access to a rising economy. You know, the beauty of emerging city is that you can own a piece of it. And the best thing in an emerging city, in a rising city, is the land. Every other thing makes sense. Yeah, we know. But the most important thing is the land. Why? It's an emerging city. More people are coming. And so, but people are not interested in that land, though. I will tell you. What they're interested is what? They are interested in buying peace of mind. They're interested in the promise, not the product. So land is the product. But the promise is what people want to pay for. They are buying the peace of mind, they are buying the generational wealth. They want, if they feel they have generational curses, how can they bring generational blessings to their children? That's what they are interested about. They are buying early access to a rising economy. How can they own the VGC of the new city? Do you get that? So you don't say this is 5 plots. You just don't say, oh, you can easily get 5 plots in Obasinachi. No, this is your early seat in Asaba, at Asaba in 2034, in 2035. Or this is your early seat at the Asaba of 2035. Your job is to paint pictures, the picture of the future, the picture of the promise, the picture of peace of mind, the picture of access. Early access to what? To a rising economy. So you have to shift from hustler to a trusted advisor. Hustler. That is why it is good to be the brand and brand yourself. That is why. No, I would always encourage us pick up a brand, walk around the brand, because in that way, when you're building a brand, you tend not to be a hustler. And hustlers are good in our normal terms, but we know in this class, we know what hustlers mean. Hustlers means you run from, just like my people would say, they'll say Osafia, right? Hustlers are just like that. And nobody wants to deal with someone like that when they are thinking of generational wealth. Nobody wants to deal with someone like that because they're trying to buy something from you that will keep their life in check, that will be the future that they are picturing. So you have to shift from hustler to trusted advisor. Clients can smell desperation. But when you position as a land wealth coach, your credibility will will rise up. Let me repeat it. Clients can smell desperation. Clean cut. There's something they say there is I think I normally say that. I said that they can smell blood, they can smell that you're desperate, you just want the sale. So how can you be a wealth coach? We all know it says charge and bail lawyer. So when you see the lawyer, he looks charge and bailish, and then you offer him any amount and say, please, can you go and do this for me? So the policeman also can smell the charge and he can smell the bellishness. Would I say it? But we get what I'm trying to say. So client can smell desperation that same way. So, but when you position yourself as a world coach, your credibility must skyrocket, must skyrocket. And the name of the game, I will repeat, is credibility. Because remember, when we say we're selling name, it means that it's not the product we are selling. Last week, I think we talked about how I asked some of us here, could you walk into a shop and you see a water without any name and you see a water with Nestle, which one will you buy on the same price? And most of us will go for the Nestle. And if they dropped down that price a little and you had enough money with you and the next deal is like 500 and the other one is 400, you say, I don't know what is in this. Let me drink the next deal. And I also asked some of us, how will you stay on the road and buy and get you you missed your flight, you come out of the road, will you easily flank down a vehicle and say, I'm going to, let's say, Lagos. So it's a long distance. You may not do that, but you can walk down to GUO, you can walk down to God is good and do that. But then remember, so is the name. I've entered a flight in this country. I cannot remember the place. I won't call the name of the airline. We paid for an airline. The airline they didn't have enough. I don't know really what happened. Maybe the plane needed repair. They just hired a plane and brought. The plane wasn't branded, and we entered. Do you now understand? But when we got in, we were looking skeptical. By the time we got in, we saw them wearing that's the normal clothes that the airline hostesses wear. Now, so what that tells you that credibility is the name of the game. So don't let people smell desperation. Don't let the client smell desperation. When there is desperation, then you'll be eating for dinner. Then they will not buy. Then they will stress the hell out of you. Nobody will want to deal with a desperate person. Right? So position yourself. The challenge to you is to position yourself like a private banker, not a property pusher. Oh, I'm pushing this property. I must sell it. I must sell it. I must sell it. Excuse me, let me check this call. I'm having an online section. Let me call you back in 1 minute. Okay. So what I'm saying is I was talking about challenging ourselves, right? So I get it. Okay, yeah. Position yourself like a private banker, not a property hustler. Or a property pusher, yes, or a land pusher. This is because I want to sell this, I want to sell this. No, everybody has an occupation. Remember that. And every man is a salesman. But the best salespeople have nothing that looks like sales in their name. I keep saying that. So they are bringing something to the market, but they live their life as if there is nothing they're bringing to the market. I mean, when you meet them in the act of helping or serving the client make use of what they're bringing to the market. So use storytelling, not specs. Use storytelling, not specs. That is the number 3 thing you must do. Use storytelling and not specs. When I mean specs, I mean specs fix. I mean, people. The logic is good. It has C of O is a 600 square meter land. You understand? So that's what I mean by specs. I mean futures. Specs don't sell. Stories do. That the land has C of O does not mean it's not. Yeah, it sounds good in the ear, but that's not what the person really wants to buy. C of O is paper now. It's 300 square meter. Yes, we know. It's 10 minutes away from the airport. Yes, we know. It is 1 hour away from heaven. Yes, we know. Right? So, but what really sells is the picture, because people will buy emotionally and use logic to sell it. So I know what I said may not make sense to some of us that are new on this call. Now, people will make buying decisions emotionally, and then they will use logic to say, that I'm right. I said I took this, I bought this price because I'm going to get this. But he has made an emotional decision. It might be just how the person smiled at him. It could be a picture of what he has in his head. That's why people go out and tell you, this is my dream car. So, and that is why when someone has something like a dream car, he has a dream house, sometimes the price of the house, the price of the car, is not his interest. He's just telling you that this is my dream house. This is my dream car. And he goes all out to get it done. Now, but somebody painted that dream in the mind of that person. You remember, everybody comes in like a tabula rasa. I know you will say, no, nobody painted it to you. The current dream you have, somebody painted it. It could be, and mostly is indirect. Because the best sales are done indirectly. Remember, the best salespeople don't have tags of sales in their name. We can have our pastors, we can have our politicians. If you go to your church, if you are too churchy and I tell you a pastor is a salesman, you won't get angry. You get it, right? And the politician seems not to be selling anything, but he will water and fire people every campaign season, whether if it's in the US or whether if it's in Nigeria, or whether if it's in any country, even without a democratic system. Right? So, use storytelling. Specs don't sell. Specifics, features, they don't sell. It makes sense, but it doesn't really sell. Stories do, because that's what people can connect to. I can say everything I say here, but it's the stories that I tell you that you will remember. Right? If I ask who knows the Paul Adefarasi story, if you have had me tell the story, you will remember it, but you may not remember all the things I said in that section. Right? So paint a clear picture of a planned city you are selling today. That's what people want to buy. Yes. Yes. Paint that picture of a planned city. Example. Hmm? Do you get it? Instead of saying 400 square meters with a good access road and registered survey, Basenat, you can say this is where your kids could grow up, owning land in a capital city before they even graduate. This is where your money stops working, right? This is where your money stops working for banks and starts working for you. But the main thing is you are planning. Now, there's a picture we are creating by that statement. I'm just giving an example that instead of saying, buy this 400 square meter with good access road and a registered survey, right? Or directly on the road for Basenat, you can say this is where your kids could grow up, owning land in a capital city before they graduate. Before they even graduate, this is where your money stops working for banks and start working for you. You have said the same thing. Hello, I don't know if we can hear me. I don't know if we can hear me, please. Can someone hear me, please? Can someone hear me? If you can hear me, please type in the chat box, please. I want to be sure. I was talking about specs and storytellings. Instead of you to give specs to show intelligence, to show understand this, can we use storytelling? So can someone write specs and slash storytelling? The specs is specifics or storytelling. Am I the only one here? Wow. There's a comment section. Okay. Very good, very good. Yes. Okay, yes. Okay, I can get response. I can get response. Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Okay. So I was talking about specs and storytelling, right? Specifics and storytelling. Specific and storytelling. Someone says it's breaking. Okay, that's good. That's good. Someone says it's breaking. Um, so welcome back. I was talking about maybe that's one reason why first class graduates don't tend to rule like we think they should rule, right? Because in school, specificity will rule, right? But in life, your ability to connect emotionally with that investor will get you ahead. Your ability to connect even emotionally with someone that wants to bully you will give you an edge, right? And maybe that's why. So because I've been meaning why this guy is exceptionally smart. He's not able to find his ways, because buying in, you see, there's something we call buying. Buying is you have a group of persons and you have this idea, and if they say no, the idea will not work. And you go back to them and you tell them, this is the idea. I know you don't like it. I agree. And then you go all out to state why they don't like it. And at the end of the day, before you are done, they tend to like the idea. Now you have gotten a buy-in. Now that is not done by specificity. And that is the same thing with land. Did somebody get what I'm just saying? You do that not by quoting the exact measurement. You give them data. Yes, we know. You will give data. But the data will not make them to change their mind. What will make them to change their mind, right, is the story behind the data. Does somebody get what I'm saying? So to get the clients buying is the story behind the product. Does this make sense? Like I said, instead of saying 400 square meter with good access to the original survey, you can say this is where your kids could grow, owning land in a capital city before they even graduate. This is where your money stops working for the banks and starts working for you. In that way, you are painting a picture. Oh, he's now seeing a city and his kids are living there and they're owning a piece of a mega city. So I don't know if that makes sense with us, but with that, we'll move ahead, okay? Now, I will want us to be more interactive so we can explore this new, this YouTube we're using for today, and I can get more used to it and acquainted with it. And so also to ensure that there is clean-cut feedback. You know, every day, I don't know, has anyone here ever bought something expensive? You know that this pen could be sold for, let's say, I don't know the price, maybe 200 or 1,000, and you bought it for, let's say, 500, let's say 5,000, just because of you trusted the person and the person told you that this pen could do more. Have anyone done that? Now, every day we do that. Every day. Every day. Every day we go out and let's say, okay, I'm currently staying in a hotel and the water they gave me, they said is one bottle was 3,000. And I asked myself, okay, that is good. But the moment I carry this water and I cross the road and enter Mama Nkechi's store and say, Mama Nkechi, give me food to eat. That water I bought 3,000, the value in that place is maybe 1.5 or 1.2 or thereabout, right? But Mosey, why did I buy it here? Is it that I trusted the brand that they presented around the water? So because and the same way you go to, I've been to the market severally, and this person tells me, you know, this material is quality. And because if I trust the person, and the other person, he tells me that one this guy is selling to you is not quality, buy this one. And I end up buying his own at a higher price than the other guy. I may not know if they are same quality. I'm not the dealer in that. But I don't know if we get it. I'm not the dealer in that. Right? I'm not the dealer. Yes, I'm not the dealer in that. I'm not the dealer. I don't know, but I bought it because I trusted him and he's telling me, buy this. And I'm sure most of us have experienced it, right? So now that is the same way a lot of us in Lateral we know sell lands without the client ever seeing the land. So do you now think is the access road the client is buying? Do you now think is the CFO the client is buying? He's buying the dream. All those things should be in place. Check. We know. Vienna is on the express, right? All those things should be in this check. The CFO is down, is fully fenced. The gatehouse is there. They are doing current mapping now, right? And doing light up and normal beautification. Yes, it's there. We know it's there. But now, what are those people? They're buying the dream. That's what I'm trying to let us understand. Because 80%, let me say 60 to 70% of our clients buy without ever seeing the land, without ever seeing it. So what does it tell you? They trusted you. They trusted the brand. But you know what? Because we don't want to fail faster, we're always afraid. We don't want to. You cannot get to the top without having scans from the ground floor. Sort of. Why is that? Because if you don't feel faster, you will not leave to correct your mistakes. But if we fail faster, we will leave to correct our mistakes. So if fear of rejection didn't exist, the next person you're talking to, the next picture you're painting, how are you going to paint it? Have you ever asked yourself that question? If fear of rejection did not exist, oh, this guy is likely to say no. This guy is likely to say no. How? Right? So how? I want us to know whether how we're going to do that. How are we going to do that? Does somebody have an idea? I'm not sure. Can I call somebody up? Can I invite somebody? I don't know. I was thinking it's something I can do, but maybe next time we'll try it. Because the truth is, we stay in one place because we sometimes rehearse failure. Oh, he's going to say no, so you're going to be cautious, right? But the truth is, there is no second place for a salesman. Yes, there is no second place for a salesman. There is no second place for a salesman. There is no second place for a salesman, right? But there are some second place for some salesmen anyway, because we know a woman that wants to get a husband will turn to a salesman, right? She'll become a sales lady, and she can sell and become second wife. Yes, but the position was for the position of second wife anyway, so she just sold and got that. So, and that is the same way sales is dynamic. It's dynamic, it's changing every day. But now we are more bold when we know we will never fail. That's the truth. We're more bold. We're more bold when we know that this is possible. So if fear of rejection didn't exist, how do you think you will talk to the next person knowing that I'm not coming to sell specifics? I'm not coming to tell you of how sweet and flat our lands are, how this project is going to. No, but I'm coming to listen to your story. Remember what we said about in the beginning. We said these results are driven by people that are listening, because they're listening to dissect the problem of the person, right? And then paint a vision out of it. Paint the vision out of it through their product. That is it. And every man, the best doctors will listen and listen so they can be able to detect where the solution is. So, does that make sense? So, and that is why we must learn that victory comes through community sharing. Victory comes through community sharing, because my powerful points might be your silent points, and your powerful points might be my silent points. And that's why wealth would always be created in communities more than in individualism. Me. Does somebody get it? So I want you to go back, write down, how will I talk to clients differently? What picture will I paint? Remember, land does not sell itself. Belief does. Whatever it is that we're selling does not sell itself. Progress does not sell itself. We start going to school because they sold progress to us, right? I think one of these days we would dissect the anatomy and the history of our educational system. The land doesn't sell itself. Belief does. And belief is transferred by voice, posture, and vision. Now, um, okay, what did I say again? Okay, okay. I started by saying that people don't buy data, they buy the stories behind it, right? People don't buy specifics, they buy the stories behind it, right? And then I'm saying something now that I want you to hear. I say land doesn't sell itself. Whatever the product is, it doesn't sell itself, right? Land is a mark of progress, it's a mark of advancement, something you know that it's like you're selling prosperity. But belief does. Is that belief that sells it. Now you believe in the product, right? And then you're able to transfer the belief. You're able to transfer the emotions. And, and belief is transferred by voice. I'm transferring some level of knowledge to us, right? I'm transferring some level of knowledge to us. It's transferred by posture and it's transferred by vision. Why this is clear, I think, why this is important for us to learn is this. What we could be very good in what we are doing, have the whole materials. It may just be a tone that we need to tune in our voice. It might be the posture we take, the mental posture we take, the physical posture we take while talking to the client that makes that doesn't create that persona of someone that has it or someone that understands the subject in question. That there's something I always say, and I want to keep repeating it because I believe repetition is the first law of learning. And that is, you cannot be selling prosperity and look like someone from the Strugglers Hall of Fame. Let me repeat it. You cannot be selling prosperity like a product like land, right? You cannot come to me and you want to sell treasury bills to me, right? And you are looking, because treasury bills is another form of prosperity, but not as livid as a land that. So you're trying to come and sell a wealth creation mechanism to me, and you're looking like someone that is in a strugglers hall of fame. It doesn't work. You know, we know some of our people that um anytime you see them with bag and they're coming to you and you just want to cross the road. But there are times when you see some of them that are well dressed, their shoes shining, and you're like, okay, you're interested. It doesn't look like a struggler. But when people look like strugglers and they're trying to sell something, they can't paint that picture. They cannot paint the picture because belief is transferred. Put is one of them. It's also transferred by voice and it's transferred by vision. That is why it looks like there are schools I know that teach about voice control. And funny enough, people that come for most of the voice control have a blackout. People that normally come for that voice control are, funny enough as it may sound, are people that are going out to talk to investors and pitch for money. To pitch for money, right? And they're trying to learn voice control. Sometimes it doesn't work, but these are the secrets of the top 1%, and it tells that maybe one day I'll join the class. But today, let's know that things like that exist. So if you're going out this week, remember we said if you're talking to the next client or the next person you're talking to, how are you going to talk to this person when you didn't have fear that they are going to say no? So can you talk about, have a conversation without price, plots, only talk about the client's future? Do you ever, do you think you can do that going into this week? You just talk about the client's future only. Don't talk about, oh, is 10 plots, is 450, is CFO, is this. Just talk about the client's future. What type of life does the person want to have? Because if you're selling something that is more useful in the future, you should talk about the future. Forget the present. Talk about the future. Talk about the person's future so that you can paint a picture of that future in the person's mind. Because if they don't trust you, they'll Google the next person, the next available person. The same way, if you enter into a doctor's office and you don't trust the doctor, you will Google the next person, right? I come into a city and I don't know much, and I enter into a place, maybe it's a hotel, and I don't like their service. I'm Googling the next available one. There is no two ways about it. So that is that. So we're not just salesmen, right? We are wealth relocation officers. They have to relocate their wealth from where they are to the place you want it to be so that it can grow. You are trying to relocate them. If you are trying to use insurance, how do I relocate them? Because land will always be how kings preserve power. Today is how everyday people preserve peace. And the truth is that a parcel of land brings some level of peace. Yeah? Land is how kings normally preserve power, fight over territory. Today, every how people want to use it to prepare peace, to how would I say it, conserve or preserve their peace. They know I have something somewhere, I have something cooling somewhere, I have something growing somewhere. So those are the things we are selling. Those are the things we are putting in the mind of the client. Does this make sense? Yes. Okay. So it's beautiful we understand these concepts. These concepts are vital. So go out and remember that stories will always sell. If you forget everything I've said in this class, remember that the person you tell a story will remember. When you tell him a story, the person will remember. If you tell the person all the facts, he will forget. So with that, I will tell us a story that I've told before. And I will tell us the Paul and the Pharisees story. It's a story I like telling because the families are alive, the people understand it. And you may have heard the story again, but some people on this call have not heard that story. Pastor Paul at the Pharisee is the lead pastor of House on the Rock Church. Right? Most of us know House on the Rock Church. It's almost in every city, and it's in our beloved city, Asaba, right? And what but Pastor Paul is known to run House on the Rock, and the family is known to be very wealthy. But the family was not so. When the father retired, the father got £2,000 from the Nigerian government as his lump sum from his contributions or his pensions. And you know what? He decided to throw that money into Victoria Island when Victoria Island was messy. Was practically a waterland, right? It was practically a waterland. He threw the money there. And after many years, after 10 years precisely, VI started growing and bubbling. And by the 10th year, I remember I always say that 10 is the magic number in land banking. I would always, if I'm banking a land, I would always personally leave it for 10 years because I believe that the magic happens at 10. I don't know, maybe. so and then that. So what happened again was Pastor Paul, father, that's Pa and the Pharisee, a family, white expatriates came to him and told him, sir, this place is developing. We want to build houses here. We learned you are the owner of this land. We don't want to buy it, but we can strike a partnership. And what is the partnership? We'll build on this place because we have 10 years contract in Nigeria. So we'll build on this land. We will not pay you, but we'll build houses there so that our workers will live And why would they live there after the 10 years? We didn't see the kind of suitable accommodation that will accommodate them. All the accommodations here are not of high quality. We want to build high quality instead of us keeping them in an exotic hotels. Let's build high quality buildings here, but we will not buy the land. After 10 years, when we are done, we will give you back the building. They signed the MOU and they took the land, did the building. After 10 years, their contract was off. They left Nigeria, handed the key to Pade Farasin. So that was his payment, the building. And you know what? From the rent of that building, then Pap Adwe Farasi put people there, of course, to collect his rent. He took the rent and used the rent to send his children where? Abroad. That's why when you hear Pastor Paul Adwe Farasi, you will know he did not go to Unilag. You will know he has clean Western education. And good English is not a mark of good education, but you get what I'm saying. They were able to study abroad and network with the right people. And I'm sure if he didn't go there, he wouldn't have met his spiritual father. That I think that's Bishop T.D. Jakes. And that's how the life of the family turned to a new trajectory. So with that on point, the family line was changed. Not just him, all his brothers studied abroad. Don't forget that. And when they sold that house, when Paul Adefarasi died, when their father died, each of them got $1 million. $1 million, let me tell you categorically, as of today, it's 1.580 million. As of yesterday, it was 1.6 billion naira. As of today, it's 1,580,000,000. That was what each and every one of the children got. And you know, what your father have taught you that works, you would always do it. And I've seen it. I see a lot of, when I see young people come to us to buy lands, I always ask them, why are you buying? I'm more interested in their story than than how much ever they want to buy. Right? And that was Paul Adefarasi's story. And each of them got $1 million after the sale. I know it wasn't up to this rate because they sold maybe but just for you to understand what $1 million is currently, but as then $1 million might be 380 million naira, it may be, but it turned the family trajectory from a civil servant family to a new generation, to a millionaire family. So it can do a lot. So that story is a story and some people will say, is there still any VI? The story have changed. No, it's not true. Every city is moving. You can never know the center of a moving city. I repeat it. You cannot know the center of a moving city. At every point, it seems to have a center, but after a while, the center will move because it's an emerging city. It's emerging. Is that okay? So the opportunities are right round about us, but we don't see them now. We will always connect the lines looking back, not looking forward. So with that said, I would enjoin us. Let's remember, we can create a life of abundance if we do the work. God bless us, and let's have a fruitful Tuesday. Over to you, Mike and Charity, and I hope our people were able to hear me.
Sure, we heard you so clearly. Thank you so much, sir. My note is filled up.
Okay,
My
that's
note is
beautiful.
so
That's
filled up.
beautiful.
All right. I believe all of us in the chat box, we can hear me very clearly. Thank you so much, sir. Everything you've said stood out for me. Like seriously, I have my pen and paper and my note is filled up. Thank you so much, sir. The part where you mentioned that we should paint a
You're
clear picture
welcome.
of the city, and then our ability to connect emotionally with the investors will give us an edge. Wow, that's so right now I should start painting the picture of the future that I'm selling, not just telling people to come and buy, but also position myself as the consultant that I am. It will help me to be able to sell very well. All right. Please,
Yes.
everyone, can you type on the chat box what you've learned so far? Can you type on the chat box what you've learned so far and what stood out for you? And also, okay, let me see what you're typing. Just type on the chat box what you learned so far. I'm waiting to see our comments. I'm waiting
You
to see
know,
our comments. Who is typing? Just type something you learned. I want to be sure that all of us will have something that stood out for us here.
while we're at that, I would like to tell us another story since we said the story over specifics. A client walked up to our office and he wanted to buy a land. And I was like, I want to know, why did you travel all the way from Enugu and you want to buy land? And funny, I asked him, but happy I was at the end. At the end of the day, I became the student. He told me something that when his father died, right? He's a young guy and he does his business in Enugu. I don't know if he's on this call. And when his father died, and we went to secondary school together, so we had a relationship. He said when his father died, that his father had a shop, was in main market, in one of the prominent markets in Onitsha. So they had to sell the shop. The mother was a housewife, but they had to sell the shop. And from the proceeds of that shop, they gave him 2 million, buried his father, and sent his brother abroad. Maybe with his brother went abroad with his own 2 million or something like that, and the mother started a shop. I don't know when, and from that 2 million, he's able to sustain himself. You know, all he kept telling me, what if the shop was not his father's shop? That is why he keeps investing in property every year. Now that story was striking. You know what? I don't know how they could have lived, but he was just telling me, do I know how it would have been? And funny enough, the small business that the mom started with the money she had was successful. There were only two kids, him and his brother, who took the Japa route. Him took to start a small business. The small business is growing. So that's the story. And you know, those are small stories that we don't tell. But those small stories create a life of abundance everywhere. So please, in the chat box, we have still not seen what you have learned. So over to you, Miss Charity.
Wow, thank you so much, sir. That's a very lovely story. Um, we've learned so much from there. I'm still not seeing what people are typing. I don't know if they can hear me very clearly. But then
Yeah, I can hear
we'll have
you
to
quite
proceed.
clear.
Okay,
Yes,
we'll
I
have
can
to
hear you.
proceed. I believe all of us will learn something that stood out for us. Personally, my note is filled up and I'm going to be working towards that. Um, and by the next training, I should be able to have positioned myself this week as the consultant that I am and sell with stories too. Thank you so much. I will appreciate you so much, sir. The
Yeah.
announcement, everyone
So
in the
let's
group,
have it.
please, let's remember that our physical training is Friday, every Friday by 11 a.m. While our Tuesday training um still remains 8 p.m. on Tuesday. Please, tomorrow this Friday's training is very, very important. How you can position yourself as an authority, as a consultant. Sometimes we find it difficult, but using an automated method, you can be able, especially with AI, you can be able to do these things with ease, without much struggles. So we are going to be training on automation automate to dominate, using AI to streamline your real estate wealth flow. All right, workflow, sorry. So please make sure that you are in training physically so that you can be able to learn how to automate these things. When you build a system, things will be easy for you. All right. So thank you so much for joining, and we expect to see you next week, Tuesday. All right. Good night, everyone.